Welcome to the third in our four-part series on osteoporosis, a bone condition affecting a staggering 10 million Americans. Of those, 8 million are women. In fact, 1 of every 2 women aged 50 and over will break a bone due to osteoporosis. With us today, focusing on ways to fight this debilitating condition, is Dr. Sol Epstein, Professor of Medicine and Geriatrics at Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York, and Adjunct Professor of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Epstein, welcome back. So great to have you. This is really a staggering disease that affects so many women. What exactly is osteoporosis? Yeah.
It's a disease that primarily affects the bones. The bones become weak, they become fragile, they cannot withstand normal stresses, and consequently, because they are so thin and fragile and the quality is bad, they fracture, they break.
Well, what are the barriers women and also men face dealing with this condition?
I think the biggest universal barrier is ignorance. They are not aware that they have this disease, it's asymptomatic. It doesn't feature very importantly because the public and the physicians tend to compare this with other diseases such as breast cancer, etc. But the results of a fracture, breaking a hip, can be just as devastating in terms of life expectancy.
You're right. And also, younger women should also remind their mothers and their grandmothers to take a look at this and be aware of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is a disease that starts from the cradle and ends in the grave.
What are some of the reasons women stop taking their medication?
I think the reasons are that it's an asymptomatic disease. They don't believe they have a disease. The other issue is taking the medications and being adherent to the medications, particularly as a lot of the medications come in the form of pills.
Now, our balancing act cameras, we took to the streets to gather some thoughts from women about good bone health, so we're going to take a look at that right now.
Do you know what osteoporosis is?
Well, as far as I know, osteoporosis is the disintegration of your bones in your body that happens with age.
My husband's grandmother had osteoporosis, and she ended up real curved.
Have you seen or felt a change in your bones as you've gotten a little bit older?
I've definitely noticed a change in my bones as I've gotten older.
Apparently, some parts of my bones are getting a little bit less how they should be.
Are you exercising routinely to maintain good bone health?
I am not exercising routinely. It's called lazy.
Those were some interesting comments from those women, Doctor. You know, what types of medication are available?
The one which is the most widely prescribed and set the standards is alendronate sodium or Fosamax.
Say it again.
Alendronate sodium, also known as Fosamax.
Fosamax, I got it, I got it.
And this is a pill shown to be very effective in reducing fractures at all the major sites where osteoporosis hits. One of the issues or one of the barriers was that this is a pill and a lot of women don't like taking pills.
That's me. I'd rather have something, you know, not so big and that I can swallow easily.
So there is a formulation of alendronate sodium which comes as a tablet which dissolves in a liquid.
In water? Oh,
in
love
water.
This.
Ordinary water.
Wonderful.
You don't need the fancy, you know,
Good.
mineral waters. And this will certainly help a lot of women who don't like taking pills or may have difficulty in swallowing pills, and I think it will be of great benefit to women to overcome this barrier and will probably allow them to continue taking their pills and be more compliant with their medication.
I love something that you can dissolve in water, and I hear this takes about 5 minutes to dissolve, is that right?
Correct.
And you know what? Happen to have one right here. Let's just see how that goes as we continue to talk about it. Does a woman need to be showing signs for her, you know, doctor to know that she has osteoporosis?
No, I think that by the time a woman shows signs of osteoporosis, it may be considered a failure on our part in terms of detecting or diagnosing the disease. So what we really want to do is to do it before the patient gets or shows signs of the disease.
So we want to remind ourselves, remind our mothers, and take a look at this before it's even obvious that it might be happening.
I think awareness is key to this. We have very effective medications. We have a very effective way to diagnose this. And I would surt of urge women who are either at risk for having the disease, or in fact all women, to be aware of the condition, that they do seek help early and get checked out so as to prevent them showing the signs or having a fracture or break in a bone.
Well, I tell you, this has been so informative for me, and you're so interesting to talk to, and just wonderful. And I hope you'll come back and see us again, because
It'll be my pleasure.
It's something we need to keep talking about, because I don't think enough women are aware that this is happening. And in the meantime, if you'd like to learn more about maintaining good bones and good bone health, so vital to your overall health and wellness, please visit Binosto.com and the National Osteoporosis Foundation website at NOF.org, and for more information on this vital topic. Also join us at Facebook at The Balancing Act.